Hey guys, so I'm back with my third haul from my US haul. There's going to be 4 in total, and I already showed my MAC and Sephora haul, so I'll link to them below in case you did miss them and you might have any interest in watching them. So now I'm going to show you the stuff I got from the e.l.f. studio in New York, and I didn't even know there was an e.l.f. studio there. I actually just came across it by accident, and myself and my boyfriend's cousin went in and bought a few bits. I have bought from e.l.f. in the past and I've done several videos on them, but not for the last few years. I haven't really bought anything from e.l.f. in about 2 years. If you do search my channel, you'll find that I did a good few reviews back in the day. And then when I did buy from them, it was mainly from the studio line, so it's a very inexpensive brand with an extensive range of stuff. So like any of those very cheap and cheery brands, there's going to be a lot of hits but a lot of misses as well, and the way I kind of get around that is by really sticking with the studio range, which is the slightly higher end kind of range within the very cheap brand. But I generally am quite happy with most things I get from the studio range. Now I have had a couple of like palettes and stuff like that in the past which I wasn't bonkers about, but all in all I think it's a brilliant brand for the price, especially for anyone starting off. So I'll let you know what I got, and I'll show you the makeup first and then the brushes last. So first of all, I got this baked highlighter. So I love highlighters. I'm wearing this today, so that's that glow you see there along the side of my cheekbones, and this is in Moonlight Pearl number 31111. So they come in these black packaging, the studio line bits, and that's usually what I always go for, like I said. And I do quite like the packaging of the e.l.f. stuff, particularly like it's so inexpensive, the packaging is quite nice. So that's the baked highlighter. This is just one of those lovely like white gold highlighters, which I obviously am a huge fan of because I'm always buying them. It's kind of like my Bourjois Ombre Papier number 8, or you know, vanilla highlighter or something like that. So that's it there. It's such a lovely little highlighter. Again, it was only about, I can't really remember the price, but you know, within the less than $5 range anyhow. So that's a lovely wee bit. That's the only like single eyeshadow thing I got. I've had other e.l.f. single eyeshadows which I still have in palettes that I depotted, and I think they're fab, the single like kind of rectangularly shaped ones. So I also picked up a concealer pencil and brush. So this is the packaging it came in. Again, it's the studio line packaging, and this is the actual product. So you could get this lighter colour, and I think it came in a darker colour as well. So basically it's a little pen or pencil concealer, which I'm a big fan of. Now I have one from, I have a couple here. I have this one from Benefit from years ago and this one from MAC, and I think both of these have been discontinued, and I don't know why they always get discontinued because I think they're great little products, and they can be a little bit on the dry side. I don't know, can you see that? It's a little bit yellowy, has a little bit of depth to it, so it's like yellow going on towards apricot a little bit, but still much more on the yellow side. And I think these are great particularly for spots, and I know that might sound weird, but they are on the drier side, so they don't slip and slide over a spot, especially if a spot has a very smooth surface. You know, a lot of things won't stay on top, and because it has a topper in the lid, or what do you call it, a sharpener in the lid, it's very easy to sanitize, and then turn it upside down, and on the other side you have a synthetic brush for blending it out. So it's actually a brilliant little product. Again, only a couple of dollars, and I think that's a fab little thing, and I've been using that a good bit since I got it, especially on the whoppers that I've been having recently. So I think that was lovely. I really was happy with that. I bought 2 lipsticks. Now I actually wore this lipstick in my last haul video, and everyone was asking what I was wearing, and this was it. So this is this guy. Again, comes in this studio line packaging. This is the moisturizing lipstick. This velvety satin texture glides on lips and vibrant color and luscious shine. It is enriched with shea butter and vitamins A, C, E, blah blah blah. So it has a lot of good stuff in it. It is a very comfortable lipstick. Very comfortable lipstick on. It has very good color payoff. This is a lovely kind of, you know, corally pink. This is in the color Pink Minx. And that's just a really lovely bright pink, perfect for spring, and that would be a lovely one for even bridal work or anything like that. But if I'm having more of a girly day, that's definitely one I'd go for. And then this guy here is Wink Pink. So I decided to get a few pinks because I don't really have enough pinks in my own personal stash, and I want to kind of pick a few more. This is a slightly duller pink, a little bit more towards the berries that I normally go for, but it's still similar. I just wanted a couple of more kind of neutral in between pinks, and that's another lovely one. So I think the formula of these are fab, and they're about $3, $4, $5 maybe dollars each. I'm not sure. Very, very inexpensive anyhow. So that's those two. Now the next thing I got, still staying with the Studio line, was this mineral infused face primer. Now they have a few primers to choose from, and I've actually seen a few people on YouTube using this one, and it's one of these very heavily like silicone-y primers, and I really like silicone. I think if you can get away with using silicone on your face, go for it. I think it's brilliant. It's really good for oil control because it, you know, helps stop the oil penetrating your makeup throughout the day, or, you know, very slows down that process a lot, and it also helps to keep moisture in on the skin. This says fills in fine lines and pores for a flawless finish. Transform your face into a flawless and smooth canvas with mineral infused face primer developed to combat excess oil, flaky dryness, enlarged pores. So basically, like with any of these silicone ones, it'll give you that soft focus effect. It helps to mattify the skin. I just think these are absolutely great, and I have this on underneath my foundation today. I really like the packaging of this. Again, I think for the price, the packaging on this is extremely good. It's very attractive looking, and it works. So this has, you know, it's plastic, but it looks very good. It has a clear lid with your pump dispenser, and you pump out that very clear jelly, no, silicone liquid, which is so smooth. It really gives you the most smooth finish on your face. So that was one I was very interested to try, and I'm very happy with the results. The last thing before we go on to the palettes and then the brushes, is that it? Yeah, I think hopefully I'm not missing anything. I got this Makeup Lock and Seal. Now, I've had many of these in the past. I've had my Makeup Forever one, I have a MAC one, but I think I might have to throw out my MAC one because it's a good few years old now at this stage. I had a Ben Nye wee one as well, and I have my Inglot Duroline, which is still going strong, which I love. So this is basically like any of those ones that you can mix it in with. It's a clear wee liquid, and you can mix it in with like your powders, or, you know, your loose pigments or anything like that, and it creates a paste and it'll make it last on the skin. This one is waterproof. I think it's waterproof. So increase the intensity of your makeup looks and lock it in instantly. Smudge proof wear. It doesn't actually say waterproof, no, so it just says smudge proof. It's sealed for smudge proof, but it's still a great little thing. I've heard good things about this again, so that's why I got it. So you have your tiny wee dropper bottle here, but you don't need much of this kind of lotion ever, so you need very little. It comes with a little, if I can get it out, I should always do this before filming. I never think to, just a tiny little plastic thing here to pop it into to work off, so you can do your little mixtures in there, and then a little synthetic brush. So it's actually a lovely little handy kit, and you can use this to lock pretty much anything in. You can use it on your eyeshadows, you can pop it on over your eyeliner, or what I like to do is, you know, cake eyeliners, I like to use that to actually activate my cake liner. I'll only do it in one little corner so it doesn't ruin the whole thing, but then it really keeps it in place. So I think that's a fab little product as well. And someone told me in my last video that I say fab all the time. I don't notice what I say. I do notice in editing though that I tend to repeat myself, like I say this guy a lot, or that's that guy, or whatever, and fab, but I don't notice when I'm talking. So anyhow, hopefully it's not too annoying. I'll move on to the palettes. I think they're the only other things now to show you before the brushes. So first of all, I got this guy. It's the e.l.f. Baked Eyeshadow Palette. I did throw away the packaging for this, and this is in the palette California. There was a good few to choose from, and you have those baked eyeshadows. So you mightn't be able to tell, there's a lot of like dust around it because I use this a lot on holiday, and I really love the colours of these. I love my, like, you know, grapey, lilac-y purples, and my champagnes and a few golds. That kind of colour range I think is really wearable. And then this, how would I describe these? Okay, when I first started to use them, I used like a fluffy, you know, like a normal fluffy eyeshadow brush, and it wouldn't really pick them up. But it's kind of like the way a fluffy eyeshadow brush wouldn't pick up like the MAC pressed pigments either. You need something dense, or like a really dense small eyeshadow, or even your fingers. So I actually was just using my fingers for these, and I would use my fingers for those pressed pigments by MAC as well, so that didn't really bother me too much. So basically if you pick them up like this, you'll get great colour payoff. Or like I said, if you just get a dense brush, it'll do the same thing. Or with any of these mineral ones, you know, these beige kind of mineral ones, you can use them to wet as well, which tends to work really well with these. So I really like this lilac shade. And it's just a nice little palette. I used the highlight a lot as well while I used pretty much all of them while I was away, except for this silver at the very end. I don't really use silver very much myself, but that's just a lovely little palette, and you get those 10 colours. Not that expensive either. Everything that I bought collectively came to $95, just to give you an idea of what the prices are, if you want to work them out in your heads, I don't know. Then this next product came in this box here, which is the 50-piece Makeup Artist Palette. Now when I actually saw this on display, I only saw the top part, which is the blushers, and that's why I wanted to get it. But I'm glad that there's more in it. So basically there's 40 eyeshadows on the bottom tray, and there's 5 blushers and 5 bronzers on the top tray. So I'll just show you what they look like. And I have been wearing these blushers all week, and I really like them. I think they're fab blushes. I've no bad things to say about them. So you get this mirror in the top, which comes with mostly all of them, and you get those, what they call the 5 blushes on the top, and then your 5 bronzers on the bottom. Great little colour range. I think it's something that I will use a lot. I've been using these guys most, as well as these kind of 3, so almost like this half, but I do like that kind of mauvey one as well. And then underneath you have these colours, which are lovely little colours. So I'm always running out of space to show you things. I don't know if you'll see that, but anyhow, basically I'll do videos on these in the future if people do want to see more about them, or what I'll probably just do is do a blog post so you can see swatches and stuff. And it's a great, again, starter kit for anyone who wants to have loads of colours in one little thing without spending a fortune. So I think that's nice, and I'm always attracted to the palettes that have a lot of the purples, the mauve tones, because they're the ones that I tend to wear a lot. So that's the, what would we call it, the 50-piece Makeup Artist Palette. I think that could have been about 20 something dollars, possibly, or just around the 20 mark actually. And the final palette to show you is this monster of a yoke, and it is the Ultimate Eyeshadow 144 piece neutral eyeshadow palette. Now there was this neutral one, and then there was a brights one, which I didn't have any interest in. I have more than enough brights that I wouldn't use as much. Neutrals you'll kind of nearly always get more use out of, and that's why I wanted to go for it. And again, it's very heavily mauve and purple, and you know, that kind of smoked purple kind of colour, and of course it has a lot of browns and warm browns at the top. So I like that there's a mixture. Like there'd be goldy colours, a lot of neutral and cool browns. My mum just rang me and I totally forgot what I was saying about the palette, but anyhow, basically it's $15 for the palette, which was very inexpensive for what it is. And this is it in, it's absolutely huge. I mean, it's not very travel friendly, but I think it's lovely, and I have this, that's what I'm wearing on my eyes today, and like I said, it's those colours that I nearly always go for. So basically, like, that colour there is the exact same as Cranberry or like Star Violet by MAC, and then you have your, you know, that's a bit more like Fig or something like that. There's so many colours in here that you could say are very dupeable. They're beautiful gold colours as well, and they're very soft. Look how well that goes on. I actually cannot fault this palette. If I was to be really niggly, I'd have to say it's just that it's so big, it's not very travel friendly. There's not a lot of fallout. They're lovely and, you know, soft and buttery to the touch. They go on really well on the eyes. You know, the quality is comparable to any higher end brand, and there's just such a great selection. Now, if I was to be niggly again, you might say that there's a few too many of these that are a bit too similar. But, you know, when you're playing with 144 eyeshadows, you probably will come across a few that are quite similar. But I think that's a great palette, and I don't think I'll ever do a blog post swatching every single one of the 144 eyeshadows, but I might do a swatch of like some of my favourites or whatever, and I probably definitely will use it again in a tutorial, because there's so many great eyeshadows in there. Big fan of that. So I don't want to waffle on too much. I'm just going to go ahead and show you the brushes now. The first one I got is the mascara. It's not actually a brush, but it's it was with the brushes. I think everything was pretty much $3. And it's the Mascara Shadow Shield. Mascara and Shadow Shield. I've seen these before on YouTube, and you know, some of them you can actually stick onto your eye or onto your face when you're working with them. But this is a great little idea if you can be bothered using it. So it's your shadow shield is actually on a stick or on a handle, so you can hold it. And when you're doing your eyeshadow, it'll catch all the eyeshadow. You know, it'll stop it from falling onto your makeup if you are in a hurry. So I think that where I get the most use out of this is if I'm touching up my makeup going from day to night, because I always do my makeup for my eyes first rather than my foundation when I'm just starting from scratch. But well, you know, when you're topping up and you already have all your makeup off and you don't want to take it off, that's when I find I do the most damage. So this would be handy for that. And that's that guy. Apparently you can also use it on the top for when you're using mascara. If you tend to get your mascara always on your top lid, this would be good. Just hold it in place and then do your mascara, and the mascara will go onto this rather than onto your lid. So that's fab. And then quickly I'll show you the rest of the bits. I think the bigger brushes were about $6 and the smaller ones were $3, or else were they all $3? I can't really remember. This guy here is the pointed foundation brush. They all come in those packaging. The same packaging, and it's this synthetic brush. Now Elf is a cruelty-free brand, so they don't use any animal, like real animal hairs or anything like that. It's a very ethically sound brand actually, and they do give to charity as well. That's a lovely little brush, and I like that it would get into any of your nooks and crannies. That sounds a bit weird for the face, but you know what I mean. Then the small tapered brush is this guy here, which is a lovely little kind of paddle shaped brush that has a bit of a tapering on the tip. I probably use this a lot for highlighting, even for contouring because of the tip, and for blusher or whatever. So the next one now is the angled blush brush. Again, I should have done this before the video. This is like the 168 by MAC. It's one of those angled ones that fit really well under the cheekbone, so it's great for contouring and just for applying blusher quickly. And these are so soft, and I think they're fab. I said that word again. I think they're amazing for the price. I'd happily use these, you know, on a professional job as well as on my, you know, my personal makeup, because I just think I have a few Elf brushes from like years ago, and I think they're really, really good. So, well, the studio line ones anyhow. I haven't really tried the cheaper ones. Then I went for the Elf blush brush, which is another quite a pointy one actually, but it's flat that side. To me it almost nearly looks more like the shape of a foundation brush, but I haven't used it yet, so we'll see how we get on. But that's the pointed, no, it's just called the Elf blush brush. Then we have the mineral powder brush, and that is this guy here, so it's a little bit flatter up top. This would be really good for buffing. You could of course use these for like your liquid foundations or anything like that as well, because they are synthetic, even though they are so soft. Or you could just use it for your normal powder application as well. Then this, I really like these kind of ones. This is the small stipple brush. They had a big one as well, but I actually always will choose the smaller ones over the bigger ones. These are so soft to the touch, really silky, and I think they're very sleek looking in the packaging. And then I have one more to show you, and it's the Flawless Concealer brush, and it's that one there. So I don't know yet how these will wash. Like, I think some of these ones that dyed, they do tend to run, but I don't know yet. I mean, cheaper ones do tend to run, but I don't know. But again, it'll be something I'll find out as I use them over the coming weeks, and I'll let you know if there's anything to report back. This is quite a big brush when it comes to concealer, but this would be great when I'm more using concealer for, or instead of foundation, you know, when I just want to apply it to the areas I need it rather than a full face of foundation. And that's the end of my haul. So I am going to film my Target haul, and that'll be up after this. And like I said, if you want to see the previous two, they're linked to below, and in the meantime I'll chat to you all really soon. So take care guys. Slán.